stomach, stumbling home from the bar. Drunk on a punch, mumbling, I was getting stoned alone from afar. Muttering to myself rapidly when the unjust eruption erupted. Crumbling surfaces crumbled, eruption posted, flushing seductive. Disrupt with destruction, the rafters cracked from the rapture. So I wrote the block on the apocalypse, but like I not go any faster. Lunging through the rubble with many troubled thoughts of my travels. I lost the battle for my sanity, one of my death to get rid of my shadows. Intoxicated on madness, the 12 steps of despair. My gut wrenching with guilt, I take a breath, confess to the air. Clouded faces fill the silence like violins when woodwind worlds collide. Shouting jumbled double entendres that only words in me describe. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. My feet were running rampant when I finally got focused and wrote this on a napkin that I snapped from the artist's hostess. Where is my last tip ever? Don't fall at the side of the road. Down the slippery snowman, cause your balance is riding low. On a mission to find peace with the speed of the beat increasing. By the clock's turning out to a heartbreak as the demons keep on feasting. Destination untold to you, but written so clear in my vision. I slice a split in the envelope, unfolded my feet to incision. 'Twas a letter from an angel, her identity unknown, gave me a sense of hope that I wasn't meant to be alone. So this mission I speak of, as the world is in pieces, is to end this with a kiss, and girl, you better believe this. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, nightmare in a nightmare. As I'm passing another corpse on my balladic journey to love, basking in scorching heat, desires burn to be heard for love. Smelling fumes of fresh fear in the year of 2012. My imagination prospered while my conscience sent me to hell. Psychotic thoughts took over me, they dragged me to many mortuaries. I mourn for my madness, wanting to break free from this torch I carry. Turn the souls of my balance, you meaning to put in their resting. Perfect each one of their failures as a way to enslave their rejection. I finally found a soulmate with seconds left to wrestle with. Slowly kissing her lips, I knew she was one I could nestle with. The words stopped in mid-motion, and every breath sent a gentle message. Till I awoke alone to find the earth detrimental wreckage. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. A nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. I said, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare, a nightmare in a nightmare. A nightmare in a nightmare. Alright, here we go. Solomon is crazy, his eyeballs into it, tears the flame that drives me to which not cutting to the aim to try them. Hoping for a time, but the pain inside them, running like a train through the darkest tunnels. Got into the light for the hardest struggles. Front of my nightmares, I'm a living life, face ready, so shells to the devil like a fight snare. See, I was right there, ministering to mind and feel, trying to see the right bridge, better down the sides. The fact is, the record's never really tracked. There's no beat the back, there's no turns to blackness. With no beat to back this, it all turns to blackness. Nightmare in a nightmare. A 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 nightmare in a nightmare. Thank you. So, let's do something upbeat for the next one.